Hello students, in this video lecture we are going to discuss about binary search trees. We have actually come across two different data structures to store values. One is the array implementation and the other is linked list implementation. Both have their merits and demerits. When it comes to the array structure, the advantage of an array structure is that searching. So when you store elements in an array, you can simplify the search and say reduce the search time by employing binary search. And its drawback is that insert and deletion are very complex when it comes to array, because when you want to insert an element, it requires moving all the other elements so that you can add a new element into the array. Similarly, we have to do a similar thing for deleting an element from an array. When you take the linked list data structure, its strength is that insert and deletions are very efficient. You can dynamically insert any node anywhere into a linked list. Similarly, you can also easily delete it. But search becomes very tedious because binary search cannot be applied on linked list data structure, and so it is not efficient when it comes to whenever you want to search for a particular value in the linked list. It's going to take a lot of time. So the point is that array's strength is it has a very good search logic using binary search, and this linked list strength is it's having a efficient insert and deletion. Now we need a data structure which combines these two good qualities so that we can efficiently search and also efficiently insert and delete. So the answer to that is binary search tree and AVL tree. In today's video lecture, we will focus on binary search tree. In the next one, we will focus on the AVL tree. So what are the basic characteristics of a binary search tree? We will explore. A binary search tree is a binary tree with the following properties. In order for a binary tree to be qualified as a binary search tree, it must possess these properties. One is all the elements in the left subtree of a root value has to be less than the root. So the values present in the left nodes must be less than the root node. Similarly, all the values represented or stored in the right subtree must be greater than the root node. So basically what we actually do with these two conditions is that we divide the data set into two groups. One group is all the values which are less than the root and they are presented inside the left subtree. Another group is all the values that are greater than the root and they are stored in the right subtree. So the tree itself is divided into two parts, left subtree, right subtree, and left subtree is less than root and right subtree is greater than root. And you will see later what is the benefit of this kind of an arrangement when you want to do binary search. So this is how the key is divided. All the values in the left are less than the key value of the root, and all the values in the right subtree are greater than or equal to the key value of the root. And generally we use the binary search tree for representing records. Records in the sense collection of values like student record, employee record. So in all the cases there will be one field which will be acting as the key field for the entire record. For example, in a student record, register number is a unique value which differentiates the records of various students. So it will become the key field for the student record. So this condition we are saying for a binary search tree is typically applied at the key level. So it's not at the entire record level. Only the key field has to be meeting this condition that all the key fields in the left subtree should be less than the root and all the key fields in the right subtree should be greater than the root. These are various examples of binary searches, and you can see that in all the examples the left values are less than root and the right values are greater than root. So this condition is preserved in all the examples, and so each one of them is a valid binary search tree. Whereas these examples are invalid because, so here what you see is that 22 is not accepted in the left side of 17. It's greater than 17, so it is not valid. Similarly, 11 is less than 17 and it can't be present in the right subtree. So here what happens is that 11 is less than 17. Remember that the condition has to be met at every level. So this under this subtree it is valid. It is invalid because 6 is greater than 6 is less than 11. So the left subtree must have value that is less than the root. So this is a violation. But at the root level this is valid because 17 is greater than 11. So at the root level this particular node is valid, but at the individual subtree level it is invalid. So still the overall binary tree, this is binary tree is not a valid binary search tree. Similarly, here also 22 is greater than 6 and it is also greater than 17 because 22 is coming under the left subtree of a root. This value, each value here must be less than the 17. So all the values in the left subtree must be less than 17, but 22 violates that condition and so it is not a valid binary search tree. So we have seen both the correct and incorrect binary search trees. We will now proceed to the operations. So traversal. Traversal is a usual operation where you simply visit all the nodes in a tree. And we already have seen three types of traversal: in order, pre-order and post-order. So there is no difference when it comes to traversal on a binary search tree. You can just implement the same binary tree traversal on the BST also. But an interesting question is that which one of the traversal algorithm will print the values of a binary search tree in their ascending order. Let's say I want to print the values in ascending order, and using which algorithm I can achieve it. So you can see from the example that I want to print 12, 18, 20, 23, 35, 44 and 52. So which one of the three traversal algorithm will produce this result? You can try to answer it yourself. The correct answer is pre-order is not. We can see that pre-order prints the values in wrong order. Post-order is also. So it is the in-order traversal which has the capability of printing the numbers or the values of the binary search tree in their sequential order. Similarly, if you want to print the elements in the opposite order, that is descending order, we just can modify the traversal so that it is right to left. It follows right to left ordering so that we will print 52, 44, 35, 23, 20, 18 and 12. So we just have to reverse the in order traversal in order to print a descending order. Now the search algorithms, we have three types of searches: finding the smallest node in the entire tree, finding the largest node and finding a needed node. That is based on the value we would like to locate a particular node. First, finding the smallest node. So can you guess where the smallest node could be located in a binary search tree? So it is always located in the leftmost leaf node of the binary search tree. So in any binary search tree, the smallest value is confined to the leftmost leaf node of from the root node. So that is what the algorithm is doing. So for example here 23, 18, 12. So 12 is the smallest value in the entire tree and we just have to reach here. So if you want to know what is the smallest value, you just have to keep moving towards the leaf node until you reach the leaf node, and that is you have to start from the root and keep going towards the left nodes until you reach the dead end, that is leaf node. So you can print it that it must be the smallest value. Same way you can locate the largest value, which must be in the rightmost node opposite. It must be in the rightmost node. Now we are going to look at the most important algorithm we have got in the binary search tree. The purpose of binary search tree is searching. So whenever we want to simplify and reduce the time of searching, then only we go for BST, and binary search algorithm can be implemented on a binary search tree very efficiently. We are going to look at it. So whenever we want to locate an element in a binary search tree, I will take you directly to the example. So let's say I want to locate 20. What should I do is I have to compare 20 with the 23, which is root, and I find that root is greater than the searched element, which means I must come towards the left subtree, because the arrangement of a binary search tree is such that all the values in the right subtree are all greater than the root. So we have to naturally come to the left side. Again I have to compare 18 with 20, but this time it is the node root is greater than the searched element, so I have to come to the right, and here I find a match. That is all we have to do for locating an element. But if you reach this point and this value is not equal to what you are searching, that means that your value is nowhere in the binary search tree. So that is also possible, and the algorithm is provided here. Compare the target key with the root. If the target key is less than root, which means we are supposed to proceed towards the left side of the target node and continue the or recursively call the search algorithm for the left subtree. Whereas if the target value is greater than root, then we have to proceed towards the right subtree of the target value. If none of these two conditions are matched, then we have already reached the target key and it will be printed. But if you reach the null value, that is you found that the value is not equivalent and it is null, which means it is not found. Now the insertion. So whenever we want to add element into a binary search tree, we have to insert the new value only as a leaf node into the binary search tree. So the new value should not be inserted as one of the internal nodes. It should be always inserted as the leaf node, either at the left subtree or at the right subtree, depending upon the value. I will show you the example. For example, here I want to insert 19. So where do you think that 19 properly fits in the binary search tree? It actually fits under 20 as a left. So it will automatically come here 23, 18 and 20 and 19. So I just have to make use of the binary search algorithm for this. I can locate the correct location. Similarly, let's say I want to insert 38. 23 is less than 38 and 44 is greater than, so I come to the left side and leaf node, and its value is less than the value to be inserted, which means I have to insert in the right side. In the same way 23, which is a duplicate. So remember, whenever duplicates are inserted, they are inserted in the right side or in the right subtree. So it gets inserted here. Now you just guess what where the 36 should be inserted. If I want to insert 36 into this binary search tree, just guess where it will get inserted. I'll just give you a moment, you can think about it. So the correct position is here. So these are the various examples for inserting into a binary search tree. It is a simple process. You just have to locate its location and insert as a leaf under the node where the existing leaf node becomes a parent by attaching this new node under that, either as left or right. Now coming to the deletion. So deletion is a little more complex than insertion, because we don't always delete the leaf nodes. Leaf node deletion is a simple process. We can just get rid of it. But when you want to delete a node which has either one child or two children, then we have to do something about it. That's what we are going to look at now. To delete a node from a binary search tree, we must first locate it. For that, we can use the binary search tree. But after locating it, we have 4 possible cases. Case 1 is the node to be deleted has no children, which is it is a leaf node. Then we just need to delete it. But if the node has only a right child, then we delete that node and attach the right subtree to the deleted node's parent. Remember this step. Whenever we want to delete a node which contains a right child, then you just have to delete it and make the right child as a child of the parent node, or it is connected to it is adopted by the grandparent. Same way we can do for the left node deletion also. The deleted node gets attached to its grandparent. The fourth condition is what the condition that is requiring more attention, that the node has got 2 subtrees. So it has both the left and right subtree. Then we should not simply delete it, it will lead to unbalanced tree. So we have to do some compensation or alteration so that the deleted node gets replaced by some other node. So that we have to apply. Now for providing a replacement for the deleted node, we have 2 possibilities. One is we can find the largest node in the deleted node's left subtree and move it into the deleted node's position. Okay, just carefully understand it. So whenever we want to delete a node which contains both the left and right children, what we have to do is that we have to identify the largest node in the deleted node's left subtree and move it or copy paste it into the position of the deleted node. And the node we are actually bringing up is it must be a leaf node. This is one option. Another option is that we can also find a smallest node in the right subtree and do the same. That is, the node to be replaced is brought into the position of the deleted node. So you can do any one of these approaches. Both will give proper results. That is, the binary search tree quality characteristic will be maintained. For example, here I want to delete 5. So that is case 1. It's a simple case. I just can simply erase it. So that's all we needed and it is done. Next is here we want to delete 5, but it contains a right child. So we have to follow the second step. So whenever we want to delete a node which contains one child, that child should be connected to its parent, which means 2 is the parent of 5. So when you delete 5, 9 should become connected to the node 2. So step 1, I removed 5 and it's now connected to the parent of deleted node. Next I want to delete 15. So here we have the last case which is both the children are available. So what we have to do is we can either find the largest from left subtree or smallest from right subtree. Which one we are going to now follow is minimum of right subtree. So we are going to randomly pick the second option, that I want to delete replace the largest element from the smallest element from the right subtree. So if you go to in the right subtree of 15, the smallest is 16. So 16 is the smallest node in the right subtree of 15. So what I do is that I bring it here and then remove it. But it is also possible that 16 may have a child. So in that case, I think we have that example in the next case. So here we have the same situation, but 16 now contains a child. And it is the smallest one. 16 is the smallest right child of 15 and it contains another child. So what we do is 2 steps. we removed we moved 16 to this position and then moved 18 to this position, so it got deleted. So these are and it's nothing but, actually this step is nothing but recursively calling the delete function. First we called it the delete for the 15 node, so 16 moved here, and then this is equal to deleting 16. So whenever we delete a node that contains one child, you know what has to be done. That node has to be attached to the parent of the deleted node, and that is what happened here. So it's actually two steps of deletion happened in the single example. So this is the algorithm for that deletion. First case is if the tree is empty, that means the key not present in the tree and we can't delete it. Second case is the key might be found in the left subtree, so we have to conduct a recursive search in the left subtree to locate it, or the key value is greater than root, which means it may be somewhere in the right subtree, so we have to continue the search in the right subtree. Finally, the key is in the left leaf node, that is option 1. So if there is no left subtree, which means it is the condition that key is in the left leaf node, and simply make the right subtree the root. Simply make the right subtree the root and it is over. Similarly, if the deleted node is in the right subtree, then you have to, okay, so I just said it incorrectly. So here the meaning that there is no left subtree is that it contains right subtree. So when there is no left subtree, we understand that it is having only a right subtree, and so that right subtree becomes the node itself, or it replaces the node being deleted. Similarly, when there is no right subtree, it only contains a left subtree, and that left subtree replaces the root. That's what we also showed in seen in the example, that the grandparent is connected with the children of the, or a child of the deleted node. Now the last is the key node has two children. So in that case we have to we know that there are two strategies, either finding the largest from the left subtree or finding the smallest from the right subtree. And this algorithm they are following the first one, that is from the left subtree they try to locate a largest value, and then the largest value is moved into the position of the deleted node, and you have to now conduct the deletion for the largest node. And just like we did in the last case, that when you delete the largest, either largest or smallest value from the binary search tree in order to replace it, that becomes another deletion. So we say there is a recursive call being made to properly delete that largest key node. So this may require another replacement, or it may, if it is a leaf node, then it will just be completed without further action. So this is the algorithm we have got for the binary search tree. So what we have completed in this video lecture is the idea of a binary search tree. The characteristic is of a binary search tree is that all the nodes in the left subtree of the root are all lower than or less than the root value. All the nodes in the right subtree are all greater than the root value. And one very important application of binary search tree is searching elements. So when you want to store and search large volume of information or records, binary search tree is a very attractive option. Thank you.